Today's daily speed modeling challenge is going to be this burger right here, but I'm giving myself one restriction, and that's that I can only use cubes. As always, leave a comment if you have a challenge for me, but my time starts now. Okay, so I'm in a new Blender file, and I want to decide what kind of burger I want to make. You can see where I got my prompt, low poly burger or pizza burger. So I want to begin with maybe the bun, and then tomatoes. And because this is only cubes, we can get really creative with our ingredients, I think. And also our textures can't be too detailed. They have to be flat, and using cubes for the other details is, I think, going to be the goal. So I think this looks good. I'll do bun, cheese, burger, tomato, lettuce, onion, and then I'll include some condiment as well. Okay, so we have a cube, and unlike every other Blender creator, we're not going to delete the default cube, but I am going to make it so that our cube here, or our burger here, is going to be just like 2 Blender units high. So what ratio do I want? Maybe 4 centimeters of bread, 4 of burger, 4 of bread. Okay, so I'll scale this down so that it meets that requirement. And you can see like these lines here are, what's it called? Are centimeters, because that's just how the Blender settings are. I'll duplicate that, bring it to the top. I'll duplicate this, bring it down. I'm thinking I include maybe a centimeter of cheese. Okay, that looks good. Now, I love tomatoes, so I might even do 3 centimeters of tomato like that, and then 1 of lettuce. I'll do 2 of onion, and then 1 of condiments. Okay, so we have all this laid out. So how can we add detail to this? Well, I'll start off by naming all of these. So, okay, so I've gone ahead and renamed everything. So I think I'll start with the burger patty. So the bottom one, I think it'll look good as just a basic cube, but I do want to add a little bit of like a taper to the bottom. So I'll scale it a bit on the Z, move it up, and then I'm going to go into edit mode. I know this is technically breaking the rule of only cubes, but it's going to be only like cubic shapes, stuff that could be achieved using only cubes. So see, this little flat part here could have been a cube easily. So then I'll just scale it back down like that. And that's pretty nice. I might actually make it even more exaggerated. Looking at it, it's not as clear as to what that is. So I'll grab these, move them up, and all right, that'll be good. Now the top bun, I want to do something similar, but instead I want to add maybe more layers of radiation, or perhaps just more extreme layers of radiation. So I'll inset the face and extrude up. And actually, I think that looks good. Yeah. Now, one key for a burger is that they need to all fit inside the burger. So I'm going to scale all these down just a hair on the Z. And of course, there can be some levels of variation to that. I also want to apply scale to all of these. Okay, next we'll tackle the burger, where what I'll do actually is I want to make the burger, yeah, it can be square. That's fine actually. But I want to make the burger, it should fit on the bun like that. And you know, I might actually call it good, just like that. Maybe I'll add another one, scale it down a bit, scale it out a bit to make it a bit more patty shape, and then I'll be good. And then I'll just parent that. The cheese, what I'll do is I'll rotate it on the Z like that. That's pretty good to me. I also want to make this sort of hug the bun a bit tighter. And how can I make this look melted by only using cubes? What should our camera angle be? Maybe smack dab in the center, like default cube style. I think that's pretty good. Let's line up our shot, and it's already basically there. So I might not even go camera to view. I might just move it up. And one trick I can consistently do is I add in composition guides and increase the passepartout, which is how dark it is around this. So I think maybe just putting it right in the center third like that can be good. So I'll call the cheese good there, actually. Now the tomatoes are more complicated. So what I'll do is I'll scale it down, scale it up a little bit, and then I can just add a couple tomatoes like this. So maybe there's one over here, and I'll add some verticality to it like that. And so I'll just move these around, constricting their axes, and then I'll rotate this one on the Z just to get some more visual variety in it. And maybe I can even rotate that guy a bit. It's a bit lacking back here, so I like tomatoes, so I'll commit to it and put 4 tomatoes on this burger. Maybe a little excessive, but that's fine. So that's good for the tomatoes. The lettuce is a more complicated beast, but I think I have a plan. Yeah, so I'll scale it down on the X, and then I'll make little waves in it. This, perfect. So these are all lettuce, amazing. And then the onions, let's look at our reference for a second. So these are all, it's similar to the tomatoes, but they're thinner, and that checks out for how our burger is structured. So maybe we scale it down on the Z, rotate it this way, move it around this way. Let's check the camera view. Okay, perfect. And then for the condiments, I want something slightly amorphous, but how do I make that effect using only cubes? I'm thinking I might even lean into the cubic nature and have it just peek out of the sides. That's going to be our ketchup. That's going to be our mustard. And all right, I think I'm happy with that. So let's get into texturing. And how much time do I have left? Okay, I have 20 minutes left, so we still have a lot of time. So we have a lot of time to add details and refine this really. So shading for our buns. I said only flat textures, so I'll start with this, or maybe we can study a bun for a second. So it's sort of golden on the outside and darker on the inside face. So I'll make it sort of golden on the outside, and then I'll make it darker on the inside face. Which actually, I'll copy this, duplicate it, and then just bring it down, assign, and I'll actually bring it more golden to try to get that sort of charred look. It looks gross right now. What's the essence of it? It's more orange perhaps? Maybe it's lighter, more orange still. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. Similar thing for the top bun. So it has the material, then I'll give it this one, bang, assign. So that's our buns flatly textured. The cheese, I like American cheese. Actually, that's not true. I don't like American cheese, but that's fine. These burgers have American cheese. Quote the menu, American cheese is a great cheese for burgers because it melts, and that's very simple. So for the burger patty, let's make some new material. Why do we make it burger bun adjacent? Make it nice and dark, and then I'll just borrow that same material and make it even darker for our little highlight there. Perfect. Tomatoes, they are red. I actually already like that shade of tomato. So now we'll just apply that material to all of them. So material 05. Okay, I like that. Now the lettuce, which, okay, yeah, lettuce looks good from that angle. So I'll add in I'll start with a base of the tomato, but then I'll make it green. Maybe it should be greenish yellow. Yeah, this palette should lean warm, I believe. So we'll throw 06 on it. And onto the onions. All of these and all these references are either purple onions or they're white onions. I'm gonna go with purple onions because we look at colors, purple, opposite of green. So it sort of works out, really well. We duplicate that and it just fits really well in, color theory. So that's a nice purple onion color. Sure. Last but not least, we want our condiments. So I want a bright red. So I'll start with the red, copy it, and then just turn the saturation up, and that's ketchup. And then for the mustard, I'll start with the cheese, and it's actually going to be a similar thing. Copy it and just turn the saturation up. Or it's already saturated, so I'll turn the value up and make it nice and bright. Okay, took from the side. This is fine. I think we'll add a background and light it before we start making more details. Yeah, 15 minutes. We have plenty of time for detail passes, so I'll add a plane, scale it up. Actually, why don't we make the scene a bit more advanced? I'll add a cube, scale it down, move it down, scale it up on everything except the Z. And then why don't I do like a basic plate? So I'll place the burger on the plate, like so. And then, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll actually scale it up so that it's like eating the plate. So the plate's like eating the burger rather. And then again, this is still just cubic shapes. I'll inset it and extrude it down until it's no longer eating our burger. And then I'll scale it down on the Z to make it a bit less extreme. Now we can just nicely place our burger on the plate like that. Bit of shading, and we'll give it like a white color, but I want it to lean blue just a bit. And all right, for lighting, I'll start with a really basic HDRI. So we'll go to color, environment texture, and then I'll open this HDRI that if you've seen any of my recent videos, I've used this on like everything. It's great. It's a nice like partly cloudy sky. I like it. The render settings, it's changed the color management to, I want to say it's like filmic look, or to standard rather. Now actually looks worse. So I actually might bring it back to AGX. And I think I want to turn the exposure down. No, we'll leave it at the default. That said, I do want more control over the lighting. So I'm going to bring the strength of this down quite a bit. And then I'll finally add in my like display plane. So I'll add in a plane, crank the scale up, rotate it on the Z by like 45 degrees, grab the edge, extrude it up, take this edge, control B to bevel, mouse wheel to increase the number of subdivisions. And I want it nice and shallow. So just move this all over like that. Get in the camera view and just make it bigger. That object, shade smooth. And this is basically done. We still have 12 minutes, so we have plenty of time for details. So let's check how it looks rendered. And okay, already I can tell it needs a few things. I'll start off with some lighting. I'll add in this area light to the front, and I want this lighting to be nice and soft. So I'll make it like 250, and then I'll bring it farther away, turn the strength up even more to like 400. So that's some nice soft lighting already. And then maybe it should have a different colored background. So I'll give this a material, shading, new. And a lot of these burgers have like realistic backgrounds, but when I think burger, I think McDonald. So this sort of like yellow or red background, even this invokes some red, because in marketing red's what? Red's like the hungry color, allegedly. So let's make it red. Make it red, make it dark red maybe. And the plate is not high enough. Or maybe the plane is too low. There we go. Okay, awesome. Now to emphasize sort of the cubiness of it, I think I want to add some sesame seeds to this. So I'll add in a cube, move that down, add a particle system to this. Particles, new, I think it wants to be hair, like that, sure. Render as object, and then I'll select our bottom cube here, like so. And then we can change the scale of this down. Maybe make it long on one axis. Okay, and that's pretty good, but that's too many sesame seeds. So I'll just like turn it down. That is a sesame seed bun to my eyes. The onions, I think the top faces should be a brighter purple. So I'll select the face, add a new slot, make a copy of material 7, and then I want to desaturate it and increase the value. And then I'll just assign that, see how it looks. And yeah, pretty good. Although I might actually inset the face and then apply it there. No. Inset the face and delete the face. Yeah, that's what I want. And then I'll apply this material to these faces. We'll go a little bit more realistic for our onion, like that. So then let's just duplicate this over to the rest of them, because I don't think we need to bother with, you know, the old modeling stuff. So there we go. And then I can actually make sure we catch all the faces like that and assign. Last one is this one, like that. Rotate on the local X. And the last thing we need to do is inset this face and delete that face. And right there, that's an onion. And it looks like we need to assign another face there. All right, the burger patty, I like the detail. The burger bun, I like the little charred detail, but how can we spice up our lighting? So maybe we add a nice hard light to emphasize the cubicness of it coming this way. And I want to make it cool to contrast with the warm colors that are going on in the rest of the image. So I'll tint it blue, 0, and then we can just increase the power, increase the scale a bit. And okay, that looks kind of hideous. Maybe we make it much brighter, but much cooler at the same time, which also makes it darker. And then I want this to be completely rough, no reflections, basically. The plate should also be fairly rough. I can decrease the scale, move it down, move it so it's right up against the burger. Maybe even like downcast light from the top. Ah, I figured it out. Okay, I'll bring it closer, rotate it this way, just a hair. Do it like that. Or maybe we can try the opposite direction. Like that. Okay, that looks pretty good, but I don't want it to be that bright. So we'll turn it down to maybe 100. And that gives us actually a really subtle effect. I like that. Okay, details, details, details. 4 minutes. So what can I add to make this a better render in that time? This ketchup and mustard aren't super visible. Maybe we'll scale this up a little bit, scale this up a little bit. That is ketchup. I don't like the color of this lettuce, so I want to take the saturation down just a hair. Now it looks dead. Maybe I'll take the saturation up and make it more yellow. Okay, I think that looks a little better. The lighting, the background choice is weird. Maybe I'll go for a more yellowy, maybe an orange color, which needs to be brighter because it's orange. And I think that also makes the blue look better because, again, you know, color theory and all that. But it's too strong for my taste. So I'll take it down to, I don't know, the 60, 80 range, because you can tell it's there, but it's a super subtle effect. Okay, I might actually call this done a little early today, but I'm pretty happy with how it came out with the restrictions of the challenge, using only cubes and cubic shapes. So I think that's going to be the end of my daily speed modeling challenge. If you like the video, leave a like, but as always, I'll see you tomorrow.